May only your word be spoken, O Lord. May only your word be heard. Amen. Pride, to feel that I matter above anyone else. Pride, to be so angry when someone hurts me, insults me, or looks at me wrong, that I hurt or insult them back because, after all, I'm more important than they are. Pride, to turn inward, putting up walls around me, letting no one in because it's safer that way, and I don't need anyone else. In all of these ways, pride is to forsake God. We heard in our reading from Sirach that the beginning of pride is to turn away from God, to pull our hearts away from God. When we pull our hearts away from God, then we assume that we are all sufficient, that we have no need for others, that we can trust no one and nothing. When we pull our hearts from God, we have pride keeping us alone, hurting, and often with violent anger which lashes out at others. As we heard in Sirach, however, neither violent anger nor pride were made for human beings. We are not made to be prideful and violently angry. We're made to be loving and supportive towards one another. We find our full humanity in being loving and supportive towards one another. When we withdraw and isolate in pride and violent anger, we pull further and further away from our humanity. Sometimes when I've seen folks get violently angry, or have gotten terribly angry myself, I've heard folks say things like, "But he insulted me," as though being insulted is a good reason for beating someone, punching, or hurting them. Talk about pride leading to violent anger. He insulted me. He wounded my pride. So I'm going to get violently angry now. So on the one hand, that is all too human. We strive, we struggle, we get hurt, we make mistakes, we lash out, we isolate. We're human. We mess up. On the other hand, pride and violent anger take away from our true humanity. Our true humanity dwells in love. Our true humanity dwells in forgiveness. Our true humanity dwells in kindness and caring about others. I preached several weeks ago about Mr. Rogers. He was someone whom we tend to put on a pedestal. He was like a saint, so wonderful and kind. But Jesus was telling us in the reading we heard today not to put people up on pedestals. When we put people up on pedestals, we tend to devalue others. These great ones are so wonderful, and these others, not so good. When we put folks up on pedestals, we also tend to elevate them above ourselves. They are someone great, not like me. They can be kind, wonderful, caring, because they are special somehow, not like me. We tend to do that with people like Mr. Rogers, and his widow was adamant that people not put him on a pedestal. After all, Mr. Rogers believed that all of us can be people of kindness, forgiveness, love, and caring. If we assume we can't, that people like Mr. Rogers are saints and that we can't achieve that, well, that's just another kind of pride. I'm different. Someone else can do that, but not I. I'm not special enough to be able to be as kind or caring as that person. But the reality is that for Mr. Rogers, and for anyone who is kind and caring, It's a choice, and it takes work. For any who think that Mr. Rogers was a saint, or who think I can't do that, the truth is, it may just take more effort than we're willing to put in. If we're unwilling to put in the effort, that's the same kind of pride that says, I matter above everyone else. I matter too much to waste my time working to be kind, forgiving, loving, and caring towards others. That's too much like work, and I'm too important to have to go to that effort. When we put people like Mr. Rogers up on a pedestal as some kind of special person, saintly person, then we tell ourselves we can't be that good. We are forsaking God and others because it is safer and easier not to have to work so hard. Living into our true humanity takes work. For Jesus, it ultimately took the work of the cross. Father, forgive them, he prayed, as he allowed himself to be crucified rather than calling on hosts of angels to rescue him and kill his killers. That was Jesus' work for our sake, to free us and help us live into our true humanity. Take up your own cross and follow me, Jesus said. We don't have to be crucified, but living into our true humanity takes work. And sometimes that work looks like daily, hourly, minute by minute prayer for God's help, so that we might live in kindness rather than lashing out at others. Sometimes that work looks like sharing our difficulties with other people, asking for their help so that we might live in love and caring rather than pride. Sometimes that work looks like taking medicine because our brains need extra help to live into our true humanity, to overcome depression, violent anger, and other mental illnesses we face. All of that work is what we can do to live into our true humanity. Jesus taught us not to take places of honor, assuming that we're better than everyone else. Sometimes that means not putting others up on pedestals as we refuse to do the work that it takes to live into our own true humanity. Not taking places of honor means putting in the work. Now, I had a friend years ago, we were talking about the saints. And she said, I don't want to be a saint. She was thinking about being a saint as being kind of miserable. Giving up everything that makes you happy so that you can be good enough for God. That's not what being a saint is. That's just being miserable. Being a saint looks like doing the work you need to do to care for others. Being a saint looks like recognizing that we are all in this life together. At the beginning of our service this morning, we sang, Satan, we're going to tear your kingdom down. Satan, the adversary, keeps us divided. Satan keeps us saying, we're not in this together. You don't belong. I'm more important than you. We're against one another. Or at the very least, you're against me, so I guess I have to be against you too. In all of those ways that we remain against one another, we are helping to build up Satan's kingdom. When we exclude the undesirables, when we put others on pedestals, and we determine that being kind and caring to others is too much like work, we're helping build up the kingdom of Satan. Now, if we look at the long term, the big picture, Jesus has already torn Satan's kingdom down. We still get to live out Satan's kingdom here on earth if we choose to, but Satan's kingdom has ultimately been torn down by Jesus on the cross. So we also get to live out Jesus' kingdom. We get to live the kingdom of kindness, forgiveness, love, and caring. And even if we have been building up Satan's failed and doomed kingdom, we always get to come back. Jesus welcomes us with open arms, saying, "Come, let's start building together." Living and building Jesus' kingdom is work. But think about how much work it is to live against one another. Think about how much more work it is to live with pride and violent anger. Following Jesus' way, doing the work, building up Jesus' kingdom, we get to let go of our pride and violent anger. We get to lay that burden down, and we get to live and work for kindness, forgiveness, love, and caring for all.